I went back to Black Ops Cold War Zombies to find the great things about it, so that way Treyarch knows exactly what to do for Black Ops 6 Zombies. Let's get right into it. Black Ops Cold War Zombies was the best zombies mode, objectively, of the last 5 years. And there were so many great things that I composed whenever I was making this list. With that, I want to respect your time in this video and make sure that I'm not blabbering on. First, I just want to talk about a couple things at launch. One, at launch, they had the main quest for Maschine. I know we only have one map at launch, but just having a main quest at launch is huge because the last few years, we haven't had one. As well as the pause feature in both solo and co-op gameplay and the ability to be able to play in private matches. Those are some things that I want Treyarch to never lose again. And I do know that we're not going to have the ability to be able to play in private matches. So that's going to be kind of unfortunate. Hopefully Treyarch bring back private matches. I also noticed that we had a portion of Knockdown Toten in Maschine, which I think is going to be something that's really cool. You guys should probably take old maps and put those into some of the new maps. I think it's going to help out and make a lot of those old school Zombies fans very happy. And last but not least, of the launch section, we also had Onslaught and also Dead Ops Arcade. Now, Onslaught and Dead Ops Arcade were not fully fleshed out modes just yet, and so not many people really played it. However, it was a really nice touch for them because even though there wasn't many people playing it, they continued to build onto it and made Onslaught really the best side zombies mode ever. The Aetherium crystal system was a feature that kind of had the community split. I loved that system because it helped us to be able to upgrade our skills within our weapons classes, ammo mods, field upgrades, and perks system. And it was something that I think made us feel very powerful, and it made so many other things much more playable. For instance, launchers and melee weapons typically wouldn't be as useful. Now, I understand the argument that we shouldn't be fully upgraded and powerful walking into zombies. I do understand that, but I did like the permanent upgrades that we would always have every time we went into the game just because we played the game. They were also just really easy to collect. You could just get them by playing them. So that was really good. Just by playing the game, continue to do that. It makes you feel very rewarding. It makes you want to work towards it, especially in the early game of the season. It made it to where the weapons in zombies felt like they had exclusive properties specifically for zombie versus MP. Right now, typically, like whenever they just take the MP weapons and bring them straight over to zombies, it's just MP weapons in zombies. But having that Aetherium crystal system really gave them special properties that were specifically for zombies. So hopefully those properties are going to feel the same exact way. With that, I also did love the attachment conversion that you had where certain different attachments gave you more scrap or things like that. So let's talk about the trials. So first off, wonder weapons in the trial machines, it felt like we always could get wonder weapons in trial machines. As long as we had a self-revive already equipped and we had most of our perks, then for the most part, we would typically get a wonder weapon in the later 15, 20 plus rounds, which was always so nice that we could rely on it. And some of the maps like Firebase Z and Forsaken, it felt like we always got the wonder weapon out of the trials. I really did loved how the trials worked and the rewards from it. It just made it kind of rewarding because sometimes the trials could feel a little bit monotonous. Speaking of that, I do believe that trials could be built upon. I have a couple of ideas. One, maybe make more interactive trials. If when you start a trial, there's something in the world that you have to do that it populates or spawns. For instance, maybe it's like, hey, go collect all of this scrap, or salvage, or some of the non-Cold War zombies, where you have to run around the map and collect all these different salvage that was spawned by the trial system. Maybe there's find this item and there's these different items that are hidden in a specific spot that you have to go and find or shoot or something like that. And then let's say the more time it takes, the lower the trial gets, or there's so many different interactive ways that I feel like you could do. I would also say the trials in Outbreak were very different than the trials in the round-based games. And I would say try and look at some of the Outbreak trials and bring those into the round-based. I really did enjoy some of those ones, especially since we'll be having larger maps. If we do have a trial system, for instance, stay in the water, for the longest time, or kill zombies while in the water or something like that. That would be so cool. For the most part, we had pretty decent trials though. And it made each game feel different if you utilize the trials. For instance, if your goal was to just come in, play a quick game of zombies, and you want to kind of see if you could potentially get one of the wonder weapons out of the trial machine, then you go do the trials, and it gives you different tasks, and you go to different areas of the map that you typically wouldn't, especially like in Forsaken, where it specifically wanted you to go and hang out in so many different areas. It felt like Forsaken was just like the largest map that we really had, and going to different areas. Because typically with the Forsaken map, we hang out in one spot or so, and that's about it. So it kind of opened up the rest of the map and got you more familiarized. Now I want to break down the maps just really briefly. I have to say, I do love that each map had completely different vibes, from D Maschina's cold, snowy world to Firebase and having to just feel much more warm and much more scientific. And then you jump over to Outbreak. Outbreak was completely different in vibes and era. That was the warp zonification. We'll just keep Outbreak over there. Then we've had Mara the Toten, which kind of had this really nice aura of mystery and nighttime and like this really 70s 80s vibes that felt really cool. Then we kind of fast forward a little bit to the 90s, but also Dark Aetherium with Forsaken. There were so many different vibes, and I really appreciated that. So with D Maschine, obviously that was our launch map. I loved the way the Dark Aether looked. I loved the random jellyfish in the sky and the colors. Like that, to me, is what a Dark Aether should look like, not just changing up the filter of the area. Like having different types of skies and stars and moons. It was literally gorgeous. They actually gave detailed life and things that you can interact with in the Dark Aether that was different than in the regular mode. So give us another version of that where the entire map is switched whenever you go into the Dark Aether. I'm really hoping that Liberty Falls or something like that, where maybe you go into the Easter egg section and there's a portion where it completely flips the Dark Aether. That would be so cool. And the entire map flips upside down and you make it all Dark Aether-esque. With that, there was a lot of really great training areas, really great high round strats. I know that they ended up nerfing a couple of them. There was a really cool side Easter eggs. There was a few of them. There wasn't really many of them. I know it was kind of one of the gripes that there wasn't many. There was like the order in the background. There was like the satellite ones. The Dad's Need Easter egg for the free jug. That's one of the most iconic Easter eggs from the mode, right? I really loved a lot of the Easter eggs, and D Maschine was an amazing launch map. Next up is Firebase. The entire community was thrown back from Firebase. Also, it took us a while to get Firebase. While going back and playing Firebase, really the biggest things outside of like some of the stuff I already mentioned with D Maschine, really the biggest things that made Firebase amazing was having a character as deep as Peck. I pray to God that we have another Peck in the maps. I mean, Peck, the dance, Martha, like he was so rooted in that map, and I will never forget Peck from that map. It's probably one of the biggest things. Also, having an order there too was really cool. That's about what I gotta say about Firebase. Welcome back, Maxis. So Outbreak had 5 mapped at the launch of Outbreak, which is better than 3. Vanguard only had 3 objectives. We also had about 3 to 5 objectives per map at launch of Outbreak as well, which is also once again better than 1. Vanguard, get over there, get out. I don't know what Vanguard's doing here. We were able to do high rounds, really high rounds. I think we were able to get up to around 935 in Outbreak, which is crazy because round base you can get up to that high, right? There was no time limit. There was no time limit in WZ. Outbreak was easy for casuals in the first portion, like the first few rounds, and then also better for the hardcore fans who want to play it in the later rounds. I really had a lot of really great time. The main quest that we eventually got, I think was the best. It was the best of all of the bosses and all the main quests in the game, as well as it had the most challenging boss fight. I love that underground lockdown area that they added to Warzone map. That really made it feel much better. I really wish that they would have made the aura feel better, but the war zonification of zombies, whatever. Up next, we got Mallory Toten. So Mallory Toten actually starts to pick up much more on the Easter eggs. I think Treyarch noticed that we wanted a lot more of those little side mini Easter eggs. Mallory Toten really had that dark vibes the whole time. This was whenever Treyarch first introduced zip lines to us in Black Ops Cold War. And they really utilized the zip lines well, especially I was happy that we didn't have to pay for the zip lines. So now I see it with obviously the Black Ops 6 gameplay, we do have zip lines in Forsaken and we don't have to like pay for them or anything like that. So really good. Mallory Toten was like a very big map. And I loved how the entire quest was spread all around the map. It felt really good. It made it just feel like there wasn't one or two centralized locations where you have to go everywhere. I did love the train system and the accessibility update that they added to it. At first, at the launch, you could only hear the train coming, but you couldn't see any kind of visual things. And with that, there was a lot of, I guess, some uproar about the accessibility of that because individuals who are hearing impaired, they couldn't hear the train, so they would just get ran over. So I love that they ended up updating the game. They actually did that pretty quickly. So good job to you, Treyarch. I also love how I just thought that the train was going to be just like a really cool feature just to be able to have the train. But you did a very great job at incorporating the environment, the train, into the Easter egg. That was so cool. Great job on that and like incorporating some of those individual pieces. The funny Easter egg dance, I love the dead zombie dance. I think the reward was always something so very like far, it felt like just missed it, especially having that randomized guess. I really wish that we would have gotten essence points while we're in there. I do kind of understand it's mostly a side Easter egg quest, so you can't really get points and also get all the rewards. Also, I realized later on that you could actually do it, I believe every 20 rounds or every 15 rounds, you can go back in and do that Easter eggs. And I would encourage you guys to do them after round 30 and after round 40, because that's when those Easter rewards are so much better. I love the little side quests with the digging and the upgrade rarity Easter eggs. You can be able to see the different little targets across the map and get your rarity upgrades like your marksman rifle pit, things like that. That stuff makes the game feel so good, knowing that there's some way to always potentially upgrade your weapon rarity for certain weapon classes. Forsaken was the final DLC map that we got in Black Ops Cold. I think it was really cool. It had the most side mini Easter eggs, and the aura was amazing. It had like this always dark ether aura right over it, especially once you started to get into the main quest. And the trial and the Pack-a-Punch machine, and then also like PSG Flopper and some other things like that were all connected to the central hub. And that central hub was great because zombies couldn't get to it, so you can go safely Pack-a-Punch and hit the trial machine there, but you were limited amount of time that you can be there. So I think that was a great idea. I would honestly like that for like most maps. I would. I'm not sure about the community. I don't speak for the whole community, but I speak for me at least, and those of us who did enjoy that. Ronald Raygun in Forsaken was awesome. Just finding him in there, needing to use the Ether Shroud to find him was cool. You can always bet that if you wait long enough to like around 15 or 20, at least you're going to get a Raygun. In Outbreak, I found Ronald Raygun just wandering around. I don't think I ever found him in Outbreak until I was getting gameplay. So that was really cool. Coming back to Forsaken, even though Forsaken's map was kind of also taken from campaign, they did a very good job zombifying it and giving it to us to make us almost feel like that wasn't from the campaign. I think I knew it was from the campaign, but I forget every time I play Forsaken that is actually from the campaign. And at the same time, I believe it became, I think a season beforehand, I believe it became an MP map. So really good map. It felt so good and it looks so different. They did a great job with that. If you do use any MP or campaign maps, it's okay. We don't have an issue with it. Just you have to zombify it in a good way to where it actually feels like it was native to zombies. The use of the zip lines and the ether rips were really good in Forsaken, as well as I loved that there was an entirely different area that we could not access, and it was only for the boss. It really gives an entire different spectacle for that boss fight, because we can't go there to just like camp or anything like that. Every other boss fight was held somewhere familiar. And I loved it. In Outbreak, they gave one entire separate area. And once again, we can only access that area if we're doing the Easter egg. That was the genius idea, and I think it was a genius idea to do it again in Forsaken. I honestly just wish that we got Forsaken much earlier to be able to do a lot more exploring. As great of a map as it was, most of the hype was already gone. We were already preparing for Vanguard Zombies. Good job, Treyarch. You got us on that. You got us. So the weapons, I wanted to talk briefly about the wonder weapons as well. And now I want to talk about the wonder weapons at the end of the game in their current state right now, not launch. I have to say that the D.I.E, the decompressive isotopic exchange machine, it felt great after they updated it to be able to actually get pack a punch. I loved all the different little hidden upgrades with it. You can be able to sprint like crazy if you're using an electric bolt and you're running forward. That was awesome. Finding the upgrades in Outbreak was also a really great idea. Putting the D.I.E in Outbreak was just a great idea as well. Putting the D.I.E, the Raygun, the Rai-K in Outbreak, great idea. I really wish that you guys would have added the rest of the wonder weapons into Outbreak. But again, Outbreak, it didn't get updated much after you guys started to pour into like Toten Forsaken. So the Rai-K, it was really easy to get. It was fun to craft. It probably one of the most fun for me to craft. It had really beautiful design. It looked really good. And the two modes of it complement each other very well. Utilizing the little wave and then shooting the wave to make it much better. That was genius. I love that. The Cerberus wonder weapon was strong. Probably my favorite wonder weapon. I think of all the wonder weapons, I've gotten the most kills with the Cerberus wonder weapon. I think that's also because I did most of my round 100 strats on Myra the Toten. The Cerberus wonder weapon is just all around cool. I mean, the upgrades that you could get were also amazing. I think they were just amazing upgrades. We didn't have to use them. The base version of the wonder weapon was the best, but it was just awesome to be able to have the options to be able to use additional upgrades just when we want to. Great job on incorporating, a few pieces of it into the main quest. Instead of incorporating all of them into the main quest, I really like that you could just random drops, things like that. The Crystalax was really easy. It was really awesome. Again, most people loved it. I do hate that they did nerf it as well as nerf the high round strat because it kind of made the two of them to get used less and Forsaken. Once again, like I'm not really a big fan of nerfing things, but it was really easy to build. The axe and then the SMG and then like the little throw and hold, the frisbee thing, that was just a whole cool, nice little moment for a wonder weapon. That wonder weapon really had the chance to shine of like all of them. One thing, I still love the Cerberus the most, but the Crystalax was one of the best wonder weapons. I think it was genius to have the mode that you were using drop ammo for the opposite mode. It made you want to utilize the other modes of the wonder weapon, the SMG versus that frisbee thing. However, most of us just used it for the axe. And so that was the strongest and it felt the best. But once again, it was cool because you don't have to use the other modes in order to do very well. And then last but not least, the Raygun. The Raygun felt strong on every map. I love the fact that we could get it on every single map. It was definitely rare to get, but when you did find it, you got it and it was really good and it was very rewarding. Please add a Ballistic Knife. Please add a Ballistic Knife with the ability to revive teammates in zombies again. So the last thing for the weapon section is the camos. I am a Treyarch shield when it comes to their camos and their blueprints. I think they have the best blueprints and camos. They looked amazing. The Mastery camo grind was really cool. It was rough because we only had D Maschine and we really only had like a few different spots and then they nerfed one of those spots. So it was a bit rough, but it was fun. Especially the levels were kind of a little bit rough to grind through, but you guys are taking care of the camo grind system now where we don't have to level up the weapons. We can just get the camos. Last but not least is the challenges. So the challenges in Black Ops Cold War were actually really good. I love the daily and weekly challenges. And I always tuned in. I always wanted to try and get those challenges. They also had some amazing Dark Ops challenges. They were actually very challenging. And it really required a lot of focus and grinding in order to get some of those Dark Ops challenges. For instance, get 1 million kills or get 1 million eliminations in zombies was one of the Dark Ops challenges. And I got it. So I was extremely happy about that. But I've gotten all of the Dark Ops challenges, minus the Dead Ops Arcade ones, because I didn't play Dead Ops Arcade. I tried it, just wasn't my thing. I love that you guys added that secret Easter egg on Outbreak to be able to go into every game forever with a purple tier rarity. Here's where I want to hear from you guys. What are some of the things that I left out that were great about Cold War? And what do you think that they're going to probably improve on that I haven't noted from Cold War just yet? I'd love to hear you guys' comments and feedback in the comment section down below. Also, if you like this video, be sure to give the video a like or a thumbs up. And if you did not like it, give it a thumbs down. I'd love to hear why in the comment section as well. But with that, if you guys are not currently subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have you guys join our community. We're currently on a road to 5,000 subscribers. If you have not seen the opposite version of this video where I gave all of my negative thoughts about Black Ops Cold War Zombies, be sure to check out this video right here and let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below. Have a beautiful goddamn day, and I'll see you here.